Welcome to the Bible Quiz. Today, we invite you to join us on an extraordinary journey through the Bible, focusing on the intriguing and inspiring stories of children. We've curated 25 of the most challenging and thought-provoking riddles to test your knowledge and deepen your understanding of these remarkable young figures in Scripture. Are you ready to demonstrate your expertise on the children in the Bible and their profound impact on biblical history? Before we dive into the quiz, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us spread the wisdom and teachings of the Bible far and wide. So, are you prepared for this captivating journey through the lives of children in the Bible? Let's get started. Question 1. Whose mother would bring him a new robe every year when he worked in the temple? A. Aaron. B. Jonah. C. Joseph. D. Samuel. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Samuel. Hannah would bring her son Samuel a new robe every year when he worked in the temple under the guidance of Eli the priest. Hannah's act highlights the deep bond between mother and child, as well as her faithfulness to her vow to God. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verses 18 to 19. Question 2. What young man was sold into slavery by his brothers? A. Jacob. B. Joshua. C. Joseph. D. Jonathan. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Joseph. This act of betrayal set Joseph on a tumultuous path that eventually led him to a position of power in Egypt, where he ultimately forgave his brothers and saved his family during a time of famine. Genesis chapter 37, verses 26 to 28. Question 3. What infant was raised by the Pharaoh's daughter? A. Israel. B. Moses. C. Aaron. D. Abraham. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Moses. Pharaoh's daughter took pity on the crying baby, named him Moses, and raised him as her own son within the Egyptian royal household. Exodus chapter 2, verses 5 to 10. This divine intervention set the stage for Moses to later become the leader who would deliver the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, highlighting God's protection and purpose for his life. Question 4. Which boy killed the giant Goliath with only stones? A. David. B. Samuel. C. Joseph. D. Jonathan. You get 10 seconds. That's A. David. With a single stone, he struck Goliath on the forehead, causing him to fall, and then used Goliath's own sword to behead him, securing a great victory for Israel. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 49 to 51. This story underscores the power of faith and God's ability to deliver victory through unlikely means. Question 5. What did the young Shunammite child do when Elisha brought him back to life? A. He cried loudly. B. He sang a song. C. He jumped up and ran. D. He sneezed 7 times. You get 10 seconds. That's D. He sneezed 7 times. Elisha had been called by the child's mother after the boy died suddenly. Through persistent prayer and physical contact, Elisha was able to revive the child, demonstrating the power of God working through his prophet and highlighting themes of faith, resurrection, and the miraculous, 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 32 to 35. Friendly reminder: subscribe now to keep up with the latest updates and exciting content coming your way. Question 6. Out of fear of the birth of the Messiah, Herod had all male children aged and underkilled. Fill in the blank. A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. D. 4. You get 10 seconds. That's B. 2. This event fulfilled the prophecy of Jeremiah and underscored the ruthlessness of Herod's rule, as well as the providential protection of Jesus, who escaped with his family to Egypt. Matthew chapter 2, verses 16 to 18. Question 7. Jesus said, "Whoever does not receive the kingdom of God as a little child will..." Fill in the blank. A. Not see it. B. Be cast out. C. Not enter it. D. Be least in it. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Not enter it. This statement emphasizes the importance of humility, innocence, and trust in approaching God. Jesus used the example of a child to illustrate the attitude required to enter the kingdom of God, highlighting that spiritual receptivity and dependence on God are essential for believers. Mark chapter 10, verse 15. Question 8. A Gentile woman from Canaan begged Jesus to heal her daughter, who... Fill in the blank. A. Was deaf. B. Was blind. C. Was paralyzed. D. Was possessed by a demon. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Was possessed by a demon. This woman, despite being a non-Jew, displayed great faith and persistence in seeking Jesus' help. Jesus initially responded with a remark about his primary mission to the Jews, but her humble and faith-filled reply moved him to heal her daughter. This account demonstrates the inclusiveness of Jesus' ministry and the power of persistent faith. Matthew chapter 15, verses 22 to 28. Question 9. Jesus cast a demon out of a boy who had epileptic seizures and would fall into... Fill in the blank. A. Pits. B. Fire. C. Water. D. Thorns. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Fire. The boy's father brought him to Jesus after the disciples could not heal him. Jesus rebuked the demon, healed the boy, and emphasized the importance of faith and prayer in overcoming such spiritual challenges. This miracle highlights Jesus' authority over evil and his compassion for those suffering. Matthew chapter 17, verses 14 to 18. Question 10. Whose daughter died while Jesus was on his way to heal her? A. Jairus. B. Zacchaeus. C. Nicodemus. D. Bartholomew. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Jairus. Despite the delay caused by the crowd and a woman seeking healing, Jesus encouraged Jairus to have faith and proceeded to his house. There, he raised the girl from the dead, showcasing his power over life and death and his sensitivity to human desperation. Mark chapter 5, verses 22 to 24, verses 35 to 42. Question 11. Which young king became king at the age of 8? A. David. B. Josiah. C. Solomon. D. Hezekiah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Josiah. Josiah initiated significant religious reforms, purging idolatry from the land and restoring the temple. His reign was marked by a return to the covenant and the rediscovery of the book of the law, emphasizing his commitment to leading his people back to God. 2 Kings chapter 22, verses 1 to 2. Question 12. Who was the child that God spoke to in the temple while he was sleeping? A. David. B. Joshua. C. Samuel. D. Solomon. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Samuel. Initially mistaking the voice for Eli's, Samuel eventually responded to God's call. This marked the beginning of his prophetic ministry, demonstrating God's direct communication and calling of individuals for his purposes. 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 1 to 10. Question 13. Who was the firstborn son of Abraham? A. Esau. B. Isaac. C. Jacob. D. Ishmael. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Ishmael. He was born to Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian maidservant, due to Sarah's initial barrenness. Ishmael's birth and subsequent life were marked by tension and conflict, but God promised that he would also be the father of a great nation. Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 to 16. Question 14. What did the daughter of Herodias ask for after she danced for Herod? A. The head of John the Baptist. B. Half the kingdom. C. A golden crown. D. A palace. You get 10 seconds. That's A. The head of John the Baptist. Herodias harbored a grudge against John for condemning her marriage to Herod. Herod, swayed by his stepdaughter's dance and bound by a rash oath, reluctantly ordered John's execution. This event highlights the dangerous interplay of power, manipulation, and the cost of prophetic truth. Mark chapter 6, verses 22 to 28. Question 15. Who was the first son of Adam and Eve? A. Abel. B. Cain. C. Seth. D. Enosh. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Cain. He became infamous for killing his younger brother Abel out of jealousy after God favored Abel's offering over his own. Cain's act of fratricide resulted in his becoming a wanderer and marked by God to prevent others from killing him. This story underscores the themes of sin, jealousy, and the consequences of actions. Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 to 15. Question 16. Who was Jacob's youngest son? A. Benjamin. B. Joseph. C. Judah. D. Levi. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Benjamin. He was the second son of Jacob and Rachel, born after Joseph. Benjamin's birth was bittersweet as his mother Rachel died during childbirth. As Jacob's youngest, he was dearly loved and protected by his father, especially after the loss of Joseph, which led to significant events in the family's history. Genesis chapter 35, verses 16 to 18. Question 17. What did Elisha do to restore the Shunammite woman's son to life? A. Sang a hymn. B. Prayed over him. C. Anointed him with oil. D. Laid on him and prayed. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Laid on him and prayed. When the boy suddenly died, the woman sought Elisha's help. Elisha prayed to God and then performed the physical act of lying on the child, warming his body, and eventually bringing him back to life. This miracle demonstrates God's power working through his prophet and highlights the themes of faith and resurrection. 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 32 to 35. Question 18. What was the name of Ruth's son, who became the grandfather of King David? A. Boaz. B. Obed. C. Jesse. D. Elimelech. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Obed. Obed was born to Ruth and Boaz as part of God's providential plan. He became the father of Jesse, who was the father of King David. This lineage is significant as it is part of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, showing God's redemptive work through ordinary people. Ruth chapter 4, verses 13 to 17. Question 19. Which child had a mother who prayed so fervently for him that she was mistaken for being drunk? A. Isaac. B. Joseph. C. Samuel. D. John the Baptist. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Samuel. Hannah, deeply distressed by her childlessness, prayed intensely in the temple, weeping and moving her lips without making a sound. Eli, the priest, initially thought she was drunk, but upon understanding her situation, he blessed her. God answered her prayers, and she bore a son, Samuel, whom she dedicated to the Lord. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 12 to 20. Question 20. Which child's father was rendered mute for not believing in his birth? A. Jesus. B. Isaac. C. Samuel. D. John the Baptist. You get 10 seconds. That's D. John the Baptist. When the angel Gabriel announced that his wife Elizabeth would bear a son despite their old age, Zechariah doubted the message. As a consequence, he was struck mute until the child's birth. This miraculous event highlighted the importance of faith and obedience to God's promises. Luke chapter 1, verses 18 to 20. Stay with us until the end of the video to see how many Bible quiz questions you got right. Don't forget to note your score and share it with us in the comments section. Let's explore and learn more about the Bible with these fun and interesting questions. Question 21. Who was the child that David referred to as his son who later became king of Israel? A. Solomon. B. Absalom. C. Nathan. D. Amnon. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Solomon. Solomon, born to David and Bathsheba, was chosen by David to succeed him as king. Solomon's reign was marked by wisdom, wealth, and the building of the temple in Jerusalem, fulfilling David's vision for a central place of worship. 1 Kings chapter 1, verses 28 to 30. Question 22. Who was the child that was lame in both feet, a son of Jonathan? A. Saul. B. Mephibosheth. C. Abner. D. Ishbosheth. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Mephibosheth. When he was 5 years old, his nurse dropped him while fleeing after hearing about the deaths of Saul and Jonathan, resulting in his permanent disability. Later, King David showed kindness to Mephibosheth for the sake of his friendship with Jonathan, restoring his family's land and inviting him to eat at the king's table. 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 4. Question 23. Who was the firstborn son of Jacob and Leah? A. Levi. B. Judah. C. Reuben. D. Simeon. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Reuben. As the eldest of Jacob's 12 sons, Reuben held a position of initial prominence but later lost his birthright due to his misconduct with his father's concubine, Bilhah. His story is part of the larger narrative of the complex relationships among Jacob's sons. Genesis chapter 29, verse 32. Question 24. What child was blessed by Jacob to have his descendants become a multitude of nations? A. Ephraim. B. Judah. C. Benjamin. D. Manasseh. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Ephraim. Jacob, on his deathbed, adopted Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, and gave Ephraim, the younger, the greater blessing, predicting his descendants would become a group of nations. This blessing signified the significant future role Ephraim's tribe would play among the Israelites. Genesis chapter 48, verse 19. Question 25. Who was the young boy that served the prophet Elijah and witnessed many of his miracles? A. Josh. B. Elisha. C. Gehazi. D. Hazael. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Gehazi. Although initially known as Elijah's servant, Elisha succeeded him as prophet and performed numerous miracles, including parting the Jordan River, healing the waters, and raising the dead. Elisha's ministry continued Elijah's work, showcasing God's enduring power and presence. 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 to 15. Fantastic! What an incredible journey we've had exploring the fascinating stories of children in the Bible. If you enjoyed this quiz, please give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Let's invite them to join us on this biblical adventure and see how well they know the young heroes of the Bible. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more exciting quizzes and deep biblical insights. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so please share your score, any questions or suggestions for future quizzes in the comments below. May you be blessed on your spiritual journey, and we can't wait to see you in the next video. Stay curious, keep exploring, and let the stories of the Bible continue to inspire and guide you. Thank you, and see you next time.